welcome you all to this wonderful event, the lovely audience, and the dignitaries present here today. We are back again to witness the Induction 2021, the most awaited part of the event, an interaction session with a very esteemed personality, our special guest for today. But before we move further, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our Assistant Professor, Center for Professional Enhancement, Lovely Profession University, Shrikant Juneja sir, and also our Deputy Director, Division of Industry Interface, Mr. Vaneet Arora sir. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much, Sanskriti. Well, it is a very famous saying that the first step to getting somewhere is to decide that you're not going to stay where you are at present. On behalf of Lovely Professional University, I am once again proud to share that we are focused and committed to provide you with the quality interactions by inviting the veterans from the industry pertaining to the range of domains and the verticals that we have. So today, I take my honor to welcome our expert for today's interaction in the freshman induction, Sri Nixon Joseph G, the CEO of CLT India, ex-president and COO SBI Foundation. And that's not it. His experience and achievements are so long that it would take a little time to go through it. So allow me, ladies and gentlemen, our votos. Sir is a CSR consultant, former president and chief operating officer, SBI Foundation, as I've just mentioned, is a postgraduate in English and literature, joined SBI in 1985, that's way back, as probationary officer. As a career banker, he has extensive experience in the various facets of banking, like corporate credit, you talk about retail operations, you talk about international banking, and more, has worked all across India. He was also manager operations SBI Bahrain and chief executive officer SBI Tokyo, the branch 2008-2012. He is a certified credit professional, certified banking compliance professionals, and certified information systems banker. So that was all about his banking achievements. I have more to add. He was the president of Sakura Toastmasters Club, Tokyo, and also started the Tokyo Debating Society. Now that's something interesting, Virtus. His interest in long distance running has also led to his completion of 51 full marathons. That is, if we measure it in kilometers, that is 42.195 kilometers, thus being the only official among the 1.1 million bank employees in India to have the achievements, making him popular as SBI's marathon legend. As a coordinator, SBI Youth of India Fellowship Program, he was instrumental in inspiring and mentoring 100 youths every year and has taken the fellowship at the higher level. He's a recipient of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Award 2018 for his excellence in public service and Dr. Kalam Memorial Ignited Minds Awards. His name figures in the Be the Inspiration book released by Rotary Club Mumbai, where 45 inspiring Indians were also listed. Well, he was recently facilitated as a COVID warrior by the governor of Maharashtra for spreading the COVID relief activities, selected as Inspire Circle Fellow, selected as Fit India Ambassador by Fit India Mission, the flagship proof of Governor of India. He is also the Honorary Professor of School of Management and Commerce, APJ Shimla University. So now I would request Sanskriti to help me in welcoming Sir for the interaction.
Thank you so much, Shrikant sir, for introducing our special guest for today. And now hold tight, everyone, because the moment is finally here. All of us need a pinch of inspiration, motivation, and that boost for starting a new life. And stepping into Lovely Professional University is the beginning of that new life. I would request Nixon Joseph sir to kindly share his words of wisdom and enlighten the young minds watching us today.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Vaneet, Shrikant, for having me here today. Thank you, Sanskriti, for inviting me. I consider it a great honor and also a matter of great excitement to be part of this freshman's day in a lovely professional university. Because so many months we have, like it was tumultuous to say the least. We have all shared uncertainty, fear, anger, disappointment. But today we have come together to start afresh, to begin something new. We never thought that such a small virus will disrupt the world. It has made us physically apart. But let us not be socially distant. I think this is an exciting day for all of you because you are entering the portals of lovely professional university with a lot of dreams, lot of aspirations. I would tell that you are all very lucky that you have selected lovely professional university, which within a few years has established itself as a very good institution of higher learning. I hear that a lot of placements take place for students from LPU. And one outstanding aspect of LPU, which I have been observing, is their focus on extracurricular activities. Life on campus is colorful. It introduces you to a lot of activities, introduces you to a lot of friends, new experiences, and therefore every one of us look to this day because we get to meet new people, new experiences, and learn new things. And by learning, we should not just think about the academic aspect of it, just scoring marks. We should think learning as an opportunity for exploring new ideas, interrogating evidences, challenging your beliefs, and asking hard questions. Why I tell about this is because during the days when I was in college, we could just focus on studies, just be good in academics, and then secure a good job. Now the times have changed. Just by scoring marks in your academics, in your subjects, just by topping the universities, it is very difficult to get placed in good institutions or secure good jobs because the present day employers' expectations are different. I would just go into those aspects because that may be of interest to many of you. I tell that it's a very fortunate aspect on your side to be in lovely professional university because last few years I have been associated with the activities of LPU and I have found that they're giving strong impetus, strong focus on activities other than academics. And in present day situation, present day employment situation, present day employment scenario, extracurricular activities carry a lot of weight. What I wish to point out is that the days when I joined an institution after obtaining my post-graduation in MA or MSc, that was enough to take me for many, many years ahead. I have seen many of my friends or those who joined during that time, just because of the qualification they had at the time of entry into jobs, they could just go along high in the career. But now times have changed. employers are looking much more for things other than academics. I see many employers tell that the present day youths are not employable. Why they tell is because most of them have only the degree certificate or the postgraduate degree certificates with them. Nothing to show about the leadership qualities. It is here that an exposure in LPU will help you. What I wish to tell is all of you is that the qualities which the employers look forth in the potential employees are: one, team spirit, whether you are able to be a good team player. We may be excellent individually, but are we good as a team player? Whether we will be able to go along with the team. And how can team spirit be developed? It is by participating in extracurricular activities like arts and cultural activities, sports activities. In fact, when we participate in activities like group activities, we learn to understand how to work in a group. That is why nowadays more importance is laid to sports activities, especially group activities, because activities such as sports or any such group activities, be it arts or cultural activities, it teaches a lot. It teaches us discipline, it teaches us leadership, it also teaches us how to address problems and respond immediately. So, team player, being a good team player is something. Are you a good team player? Is something a potential employer will be exploring in you. Second is man management. I will tell you that your postgraduate degrees or being top in the university, all these will not help you when you enter a career and go ahead, because the most important thing which I have found in my 37 years with State Bank of India working both in India and abroad is how to manage people. Man management is very, very important. So, potential employees should know how to manage teams, how to manage people. And this is what potential employers are looking for in candidates. Then, how you communicate. I have been interviewing many youths who were aspiring to be SBI Youth for India Fellows. Thousands of them who had education in foreign universities, IIMs, IITs, etc. But one trait which we look in all of them is communication skills. Whether they are able to articulate, express whatever they want. Secondly, communication skills also involve listening to others. Communication doesn't mean that you have to tell whatever is in your mind. It also means that you should listen to what others have to tell. In fact, listening to others is also an effective means of communication. Are you adaptable or flexible? Are you open to good new ideas, or are you closed? Because what happens is that nowadays we get rigid, or we believe in certain aspects and then refuse to change. But it is a sign of maturity, sign of learning, when we are open to all kinds of ideas. And only in that way we can deepen our learning. And then, whether you have the ability of resilience. Are we able to overcome disappointments? Nowadays, many of us get disappointed when we see that results are not in our favor. But then, how many of us are having the courage to face this and go ahead? The spirit of resilience is something employers will be looking for in students like you. And then, What is your innovative and creative skills? How innovative are you in solving problems? So these are aspects which potential employers will be looking in. Like you will also be within 2 years or 3 years when you face interactions, placement interviews, you will find the potential employers will be looking for all these things. And then I tell that Lovely Professional University is a good university which takes care of all these things, provides opportunities for you to participate in various extracurricular activities. My request to everyone is that don't shy away from any of these activities. Make use of the facilities provided by the university and take part in whatever area of interest to you. Because your leadership skills will be vetted, will be improved as you participate in all these activities. And future employers look forth for your leadership skills. And finally, keep in mind that where you start in life does not dictate where you end up. Where you start in life does not dictate where you end up. It has a lot of meaning in that sentence. It's having a lot of power in the sense that anytime you can change. It's not that the rank holder in the university, he started well. It doesn't mean that he will end up well. So all of us, we may join various careers, various institutions. But keep in mind where you start in life does not dictate where you end up. Because life is a marathon. Life is a long-term race. Therefore, discouragements will come, challenges will come. How good we are in managing people, how good we are in adjusting to crisis, how adaptable we are, flexible we are, all this, how much learning we do continuously, how much skills we update, all these count when you go ahead in life. Finally, you have to be determined if you have to achieve your goals. Success should not be equated with money, power, designations, titles, etc. Being successful means that you should be a successful friend, successful son, successful father, successful mother, successful daughter, and successful employee, everything. You have to be successful in various aspects to be considered successful. It cannot be defined in terms of money, designation, titles, etc. I still remember when I was interacting with Abhinav Bindra, India's first gold medalist, he was telling that don't equate winning Olympic medals with happiness. Happiness has to come from within. In spite of disappointments, in spite of challenges, we have to be happy. That is the secret for success in life. When I tell about determination, why I focus on this is that any kind of achievement is possible only if you are determined. Determination is the key to success or achievements. I will just narrate something from my life. Till the age of 45, I was not into any kind of sports activities because I was taught, from school days onwards, I was asked to focus on studies. See, in my days when I was a student and all, we were asked to focus only on studies. We were, those days, only those who were not good in studies would go for sports and all. But how things have changed now. Nowadays, schools, colleges and all are giving equal importance to academics and sports, etc. Anyway, till the age of 45, I was not participating in any of sports activities, etc. At the age of 45, I decided I should change. Why I narrate this is because age is not a bar to changing ourselves. At any moment, we should be able to change, and we should all change if we should we should have a better future, a better planet, etc. So at that age, I was going to office at 9 a.m., returning from office at 9 p.m. Suddenly it struck me whether life is only work, going to work. Life life is much more bigger than work. Life is providing lot of opportunities. Everyone has lot of potential. Are we using it? I thought that I should go beyond work and do something else. I also thought that by merely being a banker, you won't inspire others. You can inspire others only by being different. Why does a various sportsmen, maybe Neeraj Chopra, Olympians, or PV Sindhu, all inspire us? Because they do things differently. So as a banker, I thought if I continue as focused on banking only, I may not be able to inspire others. I thought I should be an inspiration to others. So how you can be inspiration to others? By doing things differently. So I was thinking what to do. I thought in bankers don't do long distance running. So with no athletic experience, no sports background, I decided I will do long distance running and be different. So I registered for the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon in 2005. Then many of my friends, colleagues came to me and told, why you participate in all these things? Don't venture into such activities. You won't be able to complete even 2 kilometers. You are now comfortable as SBI officer. Why you should enter into such areas? These areas are for people who are interested in sports. You will not even complete 5 kilometers. This is not an area for you. Suddenly, a lot of thoughts came into my mind. And all of you, if you go into your childhood, if you go into your adolescence, you will find that so many people's opinions decide our future. Our friends, our classmates, our teachers, our relatives, all of them tell us, you are not good in studies, you will not succeed in life. You are not good in sports, you won't become a good sportsman. You will not become a good singer, you will not become a good public speaker. All these opinions from others come into us. We start believing them, we slowly live in that cage, in that prison of beliefs. So I also thought I am good only in studies. I cannot run even 2 kilometers. But then I thought I am going to break this cage, which has been imposed on me by the opinions of others. Why I tell this is, even all of you, when you review yourself, you will find that we are all living in a cage of opinions which we have made as beliefs. We have to come out of that if we have to live life fully. If we are listening to the opinions of others, you are living only their life. You have to live your life. If you have to bring life into your days, you have to break open this prison. So I thought, whatever it be, I am coming out of this cage. I will run at least 10 kilometers and prove that I am capable of running. So on the date of the marathon, I started running. After 8 kilometers, I couldn't go ahead because of less practice, because of less knowledge about full marathon, etc. It is a 42-kilometer race. I was thinking whether I should give up. Then it came to my mind that this is a decision I had made. No one forced me to go for this marathon running. I decided. I volunteered. And if it was so easy, everyone else would have completed it. And I also thought that if I surrender now, I won't become different. I won't be able to inspire others. So I thought I will carry on. With lot of difficulty, I was totally exhausted. My joints aching everywhere. With lot of difficulty, I dragged myself to 42 kilometers finish point and got my first finisher's medal for completing full marathon. So from zero running, zero physical activity to one full marathon, I completed. 42 kilometers I completed, and it gave me a lot of happiness. The finisher's medal gave me a powerful message. It gave me a message that if you are determined, you can achieve anything in life. So all of you, as you enter into the first day of your academic sessions, I tell you, be determined. Whatever your success goal be becoming doctor, engineer, chartered accountant, IT professional, anything, or becoming a sportsman, or becoming a dancer, musician, singer, if you are determined, you will be able to achieve. I continued running. I registered for Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon every year, completed it 4 times, and then I got posted to Tokyo. In Tokyo, what I found is the environment is conducive for all kinds of sports. That is why you see in Olympics and all, Japan is able to do well because the environment as such is conducive. There are very good sports infrastructure, and wherever you go, you find people cycling, swimming, jogging, etc. And when all of others are doing this, you also will be motivated to do. I saw men, women, 80 years, 90 years, running, jogging, cycling, swimming, taking care of their body, going to gym, working out, etc. They take lot of care for their body. And I also found that in Japan, people after 60 years, they become more energetic, they live their life. In India, I find after retirement at 60 years, people not only retire from their jobs, they also retire from their life. It inspired me more. I started doing 4 full marathons per year. Why I did started doing 4 full marathons per year is that every 3 months you have a physical mental challenge of completing 42 kilometers, which will energize you, which will help you discipline, which will help you prepare for it. In essence, throughout the 365 days of the year, you will be preparing yourself, disciplining yourself, focusing yourself on achieving these goals. And I'm telling you, it's not need not be running. All of you should have some physical mental challenge which will excite you. I found that after 45 years, I found that unless you are coming out of the comfort zone, unless you are ready to take up challenges, unless you are ready to do things which others tell you cannot do, life won't be exciting. And you can bring life into your days only by taking up challenges in whatever field, be it singing, be it in academics or anything. Take up challenges, you will find life to be exciting. And till the lockdown was there, I completed almost 37 full marathons. And even when lockdown was there, I did jogging inside my apartment. When many of my friends, coroners, told you cannot jog a marathon inside your apartment, I did it inside my apartment and did it not 1 time, 7 times, giving the message that if there is a will, there is a powerful way to achieve it. So what I want to convey to you all on your first day in this lovely professional university is that be determined. You have joined this university with a lot of aspirations. Be determined to achieve it. And then never give up. I find many of our youngsters, I have been part of the SBI Youth for India Fellowship Program, but I've seen youngsters give up very, very fast. They encounter some disappointment and then give up very, very fast. In life, you can be successful only if you never give up. And unless you come out of the comfort zone and take up challenges, your life won't be exciting. I just mentioned about SBI Youth for India Fellowship Program for 5 minutes because that may be of interest to you. SBI Youth for India Fellowship Program is one of the prestigious programs of SBI Foundation, where youths are provided an opportunity. Highly educated boys and girls from tier 1, tier 2 cities are given an opportunity to work in rural areas as part of this fellowship. It is a 12-month fellowship where we get almost 18,000 applications from all over the world, including those who have studied in Harvard, Columbia, London School of Economics, IIMs, IITs, other reputed colleges in India, including LPU. I have found many of the educated youths apply for it for the 100 fellowship opportunities. You see the competition, 100 fellowship opportunities. I have been interacting with many of these youths, and one question which I used to ask them is, you are an engineering graduate, chartered accountant, you have become why you, after completing engineering, you are in TCS, you are in Infosys, why you are joining a fellowship program, leaving your lucrative career. And the reply many of them gave was that we took engineering because our parents compelled us. We were not interested in engineering, but because our parents compelled us, we took engineering. We took MCom or BCom because our parents forced us to do it. I tell all of you, if life is short, do what you enjoy. If this is not the subject you can enjoy, select the subject you can enjoy. But otherwise, if many of us may not be lucky to get a subject which we like, then start liking the subject, because that is the only way to remain happy. So after our interview, we select 100 of them and send them to the villages where they identify problems in the villages and find a solution for that. There are many successful stories here, and what they do is first 3 months they interact with the villagers, find the problems in the village, and then address one of the issues, one of the problems, resolve them, make a pilot project, make it successful and make it sustainable, and leave the fellowship. And very good thing is 70% of our fellows continue to remain in the development sector after this fellowship. Many of them who are left lucrative careers. There is a fellow who was with the Bank of America. After his MBA from US, he was in Bank of America, Singapore, Bank of America, Singapore. After 2 years of the job there, he left that and joined the fellowship. I asked him why he left, why he is leaving such a very glamorous job. He was telling he is not happy with the corporate culture. He went to Kalahandi district, Orissa. It's a very poor district. As a fellow, mobilized the women there, started self-help groups, and started small enterprises for them. There was another boy from IIT Chennai. He did mechanical engineering. He went to Dams district, Gujarat, and worked with the tribal bamboo craftsmen there. After the fellowship was over, instead of going for corporate career, he went to that village, started a social enterprise involving 5 to 6 bamboo craftsmen, giving livelihood opportunities to them. Similarly, there was one girl from Delhi. She was practicing with a Supreme Court lawyer. She left legal practice, joined as an SBI Youth for India fellow, and started a social enterprise involving tribal women, and they are producing bamboo-based jewelry. So there are many successful stories of young men and women becoming job providers instead of job seekers. And remember, when many of us are trying to acquire MBA and all and go for a corporate career, there is a substantial portion of youth who are dissatisfied with the career, corporate culture, and coming back to the villages. I have been inspired by these youth because I used to ask them during the interview, is it the right time to join a rural fellowship? Especially when COVID is at its height. Many of them replied that this is the time to join a fellowship, and there is no time, specific time, to give back to society. So this is something which we have to learn. We are all privileged, we are lucky, we are getting admission in a lovely professional university. But then we should also develop the spirit of giving back. Why I mentioned about this fellowship is that it's a very prestigious fellowship and looked forth by many highly educated youths. I stop here and would be happy to get any questions from you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful, wonderful interaction. I'm sure we had a lot of things to grasp. Sir, I have a question for you, since you are known as SBI's marathon legend and you are a fitness enthusiast. So what are your tips, like basic fitness tips for the freshers who are here with us today?
See, what I would tell is that, everyone cannot run a marathon, need not be also. What we should all focus on is physical literacy. See, earlier it was illiteracy we were fighting against, and now we were giving foundation skills, numeracy skills and all to people and making them literate. And therefore, I think our literacy rate has gone up all over India. Literacy rate is around 80%, if I am correct. So now what we have to do is we have to focus on physical literacy. What is happening is because of the development of technology, etc., people are mostly glued to TV, computers, mobile, etc. A lot of time we spend on the screen. Whereas our body requires some kind of movement. It can be dancing, it can be walking, it can be even simple as throwing a ball. In fact, daily, at least 30 minutes, we should do some kind of physical activity so that our body gets fit. See, we need not run 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. For those who it is possible, they can do it. But then, for all of us, we have only one body, we have to take care of it. So at least 30 minutes, we should do at least dancing, aerobics, some activity which we should find out which can give our body some kind of movement. So now there's a Pullala Gobichan who is the coach of PV Sindhu. He used to tell we have to focus more on physical literacy. And I know LPU is encouraging a lot of such activities. Only thing will be the students to take part, avail this opportunity and make the best use of it. So maybe it is 500 steps per day or just some time for dancing and all. We should find some time for our like physical activity. And no one should tell we don't have time. I also have same amount of time as all of you only. If we give priority to it, we'll find time. Otherwise, we'll find excuses. I have project work to do. I have a lot of reading to do. All these are excuses we find because this is not our priority. The same importance you give for project work, you have to give to your body some kind of physical activity, then you will find time for it.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, do we have more questions? Sir, there is a question. What is the need of the market nowadays? Means, what are the skills that companies or employees expect from the candidates?
See, I will tell you, like last few years, I've been interviewing candidates for various positions in SBI Foundation. In all the interviews, what I look for is whether they have an interest to learn new things. It's not how much you know about your subject, but how much eager you are to learn new things. Because as I told you, whatever you learn now, another 3 years you get a degree certificate, after another 3 years that will become irrelevant. It will become redundant. Because this is the time where you have to be on continuous learning mode. So are you showing signs of interest in learning new things? Are you doing continuous learning? Are you updating your skills? That is one part. Second part is how good you are in communicating. Are you able to write one article, one page properly? Can you prepare a good note? That is one thing. Are you flexible? Are you able to adjust to a team? Because individually you may be good, you are top the university, you are a very good speaker, everything fine. But in offices, any organization requires people who can mix with the team. People who are interested in learning from those who are already there. Many cases what happens is because of our postgraduate qualification or PhD qualifications, we at least some of the candidates seem to think that they know everything. But then humility is something which we look for in candidates. Unless you feel humble, you will not learn new things. See, Socrates was telling to the judges that he is the most wise man in the group because he knows only very little about the world. What does it mean? It means that unless you are very humble, unless you know, you are humble enough to acknowledge that you know very little, you won't be able to know about the problems facing the world. You will not be able to come out with solutions unless you are humble enough to accept that you don't know anything. And then I like in foundation, we used to look for candidates with the compassion, candidates who are knowing what is happening around the world. I would tell here that I asked many of the candidates who are having PhD and post graduation how many sustainable development goals we have. It was disappointing. Many of them were not aware how many sustainable development goals are there. That is something very, very disappointing, because the benefit of achieving sustainable development goals is coming to the youths who are sitting in front of me. And therefore, the youths who are sitting in front of me have a lot of role to play in achievement of sustainable development goals by India. I'm sure LPU, I have been discussing with your professors and all. There are a lot of activities going on. Vineet also, I was discussing about sustainable development goals. But I tell all of you, know about sustainable development goals, because it is very, very important, and see how you can spread awareness of sustainable development goals. This is something, individual responsibility of every young person who is listening to me. Spreading awareness about sustainable development goals, and see how many of these goals you can adopt into your daily life. There are a lot of goals which can be adopted into your daily life. Improving quality of education for government, everyone. There you can give some private tuition to students who cannot avail expensive education. You can conserve energy by the way how you use electricity, how you use water. So all these are ways in which you can come to the campus by cycle. All these are ways by which you are promoting sustainable development goals. And I am very proud to tell them that many of the candidates whom I interviewed also told me that they have integrated many of these goals into the daily life. That is really very inspiring to hear from many young students that they have adopted sustainable development goals into their daily life. So these are the qualities we look forward in those who apply for various jobs. And this is the same everywhere, because you have to see, this is an era of continuous learning. So you have to be, like, you should not tell, I have got degree from LPU, I have got a postgraduate degree or diploma from LPU, now my education is over. No. Education is one activity which has to pursue till the end of your life.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering that question. We'll take one last question. That is, how can we improve our communication skills? Give some golden tips, sir.
See, communication skills, I will tell from in my own case, I'll tell you, one way of improving communication skills, one is by reading. You have to read the editorials of various newspapers. That is one way of improving your articulation communication skill. One. Second is participate in giving speeches or group activities, debating clubs, etc. So it is very, very tough, challenging for anyone to give a public speech for the first time. I am just sharing my own experience. I was shivering. I couldn't even tell even 3 sentences when I was in school. I still remember classmates ridiculing me, making fun of me, all these things. But then all these, if it goes into your mind and you believe in those things, you become a prisoner of this, you won't improve. What I will tell everyone is, whenever there is a chance to give a speech, whenever there is a chance to do something on the stage, on the dais, don't shirk that opportunity, don't avoid that opportunity, grab that opportunity. Because the first time you may feel shy, first time you may have stage fright, first time you may shiver, but then by repeating it, you will become a very good speaker. So, my advice is, as much as opportunities you get to speak, do it. I joined the Toastmasters Club. I don't know how many have heard about Toastmasters Club, whether it is there in Amritsar or Ludhiana, I don't know. One thing is the Toastmasters Club, how we improve speaking is by continuously giving speeches continuously. Every week, one speech each. And then others will give positive comments. It's not that you get, like our friends, we should not give negative comments to people. You gave a very useless speech, or you didn't. Instead of what we tell in those clubs is, you could have improved your speech by adding stories. You could have improved your speech by showing some more bodily actions, some more facial expressions. We never tell you gave a bad speech. So in that way, like the feedback which we give also is important. But all of you, if you want to improve your communications, one, you have to listen to others. Second, you have to read newspaper editorials, especially that will improve your language. And you will also get perspectives from various people. As I told you, we shouldn't avoid ideas from the opposite group. Now, that is what I find in many of the discussions. We don't listen to what others tell. We have our ideas and we are not open to others' ideas. That is the thing. And continuously give speeches or continuously give songs or any activity on the stage, do it. You'll become very confident in communicating.
Thank you so much, sir. I said that was the last question, but there is one more question.
Okay,
I'm
no
sure
issue.
this is the last. Yeah. So the question is how to face failure. What are your tips on that?
See, here also I will tell you, we attach a lot of negativity to failure. That also, if you see from our childhood onwards, you score less marks in the class test or you fail in the test and all, it is considered as something very, very negative. We don't think that failure in one aspect does not define you. If you are not good in studies, you may be good in some other thing. You may be good in dancing, you may be good in singing, or you may be good in sports activities. Or you may not be good at anything at all. Even not being good also is a happy state. But what is happening is that we, like like those around us, give lot of seriousness to this failure and tell you are a failure, and that disappoints us. But then see, everyone tells failures are stepping stones to success and all. But then it is very difficult for a person who has failed in a test or anything to get adjusted to it. It is very easy to give a motivating talk telling failures are okay, you get along. But what I have found is that from my experience also I have also encountered a lot of failures. But one thing is, I have found that what we call failure is not something negative at all. From there we can that is a situation which helps us to understand where we went wrong and to come out correct in the next attempt. That only I will tell you in a simple term, because we are all used to enjoying success. We are not ready to take failure. But if you are like you want to enjoy the fruits of success, you have to be ready to accept failure also. And it is this inability to take failure only is leading to a lot of suicides, lot of disappointment, lot of frustrations and all in life. Inability to take this failure. And please remember, in everyone's life, there is failure, there is challenges. And that's what I told you. It is not what you start will not be the place where you are going to end. I have seen many people who joined the bank with not any, just by passing grade. They cleared the exam, but then just passing grade, not a topper in the university or anything. They have done very well in the career and gone ahead. Similarly, if you see around us, people whom we considered failed in education, failed in the test, failed in the exam, they come out successfully everywhere. I feel this negativity related to failure should be taken away from our mind. See, when someone tells you have failed in economics exam, one thing is you can analyze where you have gone wrong and prepare for it next time and go ahead. Second thing is, even if you failed in economics or some subject, that is not the end of your life. You cannot define your life by score sheet marks, etc. I have learned from my life. I have been a rank holder, I have been topper in the universities, but I have found that what led me through my life and my career and all are not this mark list or something which people considered successful. I think the failures which people told only could help me in going through life. So anyone who is sitting here, anyone, all of you will encounter failures, but don't define it as a failure in the sense. Do not define failure as what defines you. Everyone's life is a mixture of ups and downs. Challenges are there in everyone's life. So believe that and go ahead. And then don't be guided by others' opinion. Your friends telling you, or those around you telling you, you have failed, you are a failure. It's not like that. Failures are part of life. If unless you go through your failure, unless you go through the not comfortable zone, you are not going to grow also. Many failures I encountered helped me in growing. In fact, I am very, very thankful that I could go through that.
Thank you so much, sir. Now that we have come to the end of the session of this wonderful, wonderful event, I would like to thank sir on behalf of the whole university, LPU, and it's our honor and it's our pleasure. We are so delighted to have you here with us, sir. And I'm sure the freshers had a lot to learn from this session and they'll take these tips and move forward in their future. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, lovely audience. I hope this was a wonderful session for you. So thank you for joining us. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay safe and stay strong.